The Count of Saint Germain, the man who never died. In the glittering courts of 18th century Europe, one man appeared who defied every rule of nature and society. He spoke a dozen languages flawlessly. He played music like an angel. He claimed to be centuries old. He dined with kings but never seemed to eat. He spoke of ancient Rome and distant Persia as if he had walked their streets. His name was the Count of Saint Germain. And to this day, no one knows who or what he really was. The Count first appears in the historical record in the 1740s and 50s, moving through the courts of Europe like a ghost. In Paris, he becomes a favourite of King Louis XV and his mistress, Madame de Pompadour. He arrives with no clear origin, no family name, no past that anyone can verify. Yet he speaks with the confidence of nobility and the wisdom of a scholar. He claims expertise in chemistry, alchemy, painting, music, and languages. Madame de Pompadour writes in her diary, "He is a man who does not die." Others whisper that he possesses the secret of eternal youth, the philosopher's stone itself. But who is he? A charlatan? A spy? Or something far stranger? No birth record exists for the Count of Saint Germain. No childhood, no family tree. Historians have proposed dozens of theories. Some say he was the illegitimate son of a Spanish or Portuguese royal, hidden away to avoid scandal. Others suggest he was a Jewish merchant's son who reinvented himself. Still others believe he was a Rosicrucian adept, trained in secret mystical orders. The Count himself offered contradictory stories. To some, he claimed to be 500 years old. To others, he hinted at having lived in ancient Babylon. He spoke of meeting Jesus Christ, of dining with the Queen of Sheba, of witnessing the fall of Rome. Was he lying? Playing a game? Or did he genuinely believe, or know, something the rest of the world did not? One of the Count's most famous claims was his mastery of alchemy. He boasted that he could remove flaws from diamonds, transmute metals, and, most tantalizing of all, create an elixir of life that could extend youth indefinitely. Witnesses reported seeing him perform chemical feats that baffled the scientists of his day. He would take a flawed gemstone and return it days later, flawless and radiant. He demonstrated dyes and pigments that produced colours no one had seen before. King Louis XV was so impressed that he gave the Count a laboratory at the royal chateau of Chambord. There, behind locked doors, the Count worked on experiments he shared with no one. Was he a genius chemist ahead of his time? Or a master showman using tricks and misdirection? The line between science and magic in that era was thinner than we imagine. But the Count was not merely a curiosity of the salons. He was also a player in the dangerous game of European politics. He served as an informal diplomat, carrying messages between rival courts. He had the trust of kings and the suspicion of ministers. Some believed he was a spy, but for whom? France? England? Prussia? Or some hidden power that served no nation? He moved effortlessly between worlds, the glittering ballrooms of Versailles, the secret meetings of Freemasons, the inner circles of Rosicrucians and Kabbalists. He was at home everywhere and belonged nowhere. In the 1760s, he was involved in secret peace negotiations during the 7 Years' War. When the French foreign minister discovered this, the Count was forced to flee Paris. He vanished, only to reappear months later in London, then St. Petersburg, then Vienna. He was a man without a country, without allegiance, except perhaps to knowledge itself. The Count of Saint Germain crossed paths with many of the greatest minds and rulers of his age. Voltaire, the sharp-tongued philosopher, called him a man who knows everything and who never dies. Casanova, the famous adventurer, met him in the 1750s and again decades later, and swore the Count had not aged a day. Jean-Jacques Rousseau mentioned him. Horace Walpole wrote about him with a mix of fascination and skepticism. Catherine the Great of Russia invited him to her court. Frederick the Great of Prussia reportedly consulted him on matters of state. Yet in every account the same questions linger. Who is he? Where does he come from? And why does he never seem to grow old? Some who met him early in life claimed to see him again 30, 40, even 50 years later, unchanged. Was this exaggeration? Mistaken identity? Or something else entirely? Beyond his social charm and political intrigue, the Count was also a teacher. He spoke of spiritual transformation, inner alchemy, and the hidden laws of nature. He taught that humanity was on the verge of a great awakening, a shift in consciousness that would unite science, philosophy, and spirituality. He spoke of reincarnation, of karma, of the soul's journey through many lifetimes. To some, he was a prophet. To others, a fraud wrapping old mystical ideas in new language. But those who studied with him often reported profound experiences, visions, insights, transformations they could not explain. He never founded a formal school or wrote a widely published book. His teachings were passed quietly, person to person, in private conversations and secret gatherings. And so his ideas, like the man himself, became legend, half-remembered, endlessly interpreted, impossible to pin down. According to official records, the Count of Saint Germain died on February 27, 1784, in the small German town of Eckernförde. He was a guest of Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel, a fellow student of mysticism and alchemy. The death was recorded. A burial took place. The story, it seemed, was over. But then the sightings began. In 1785, a man matching the Count's description was seen in Paris, attending a Masonic meeting. In 1789, he was reportedly spotted at the court of Marie Antoinette, warning her of the coming revolution. In the 1820s, a French countess swore she had spoken with him at a party in Vienna. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, reports continued. Travellers claimed to meet him in India, in Egypt, in the American West. Occultists insisted he was still alive, working behind the scenes to guide humanity's spiritual evolution. Was it the same man? Imitators? Delusion? Or had the Count truly discovered the secret he claimed, immortality? Over the centuries, theories about the Count of Saint Germain have multiplied like reflections in a hall of mirrors. The skeptics say he was a clever conman, a skilled linguist and chemist who exploited the credulity of the aristocracy. Perhaps he used makeup, wigs, and accomplices to create the illusion of agelessness. Historians suggest he was a spy or political agent, using mystery as a cover for espionage. His wealth, his access, his travels all fit the profile of an intelligence operative. The occultists believe he was an ascended master, a spiritually advanced being who had transcended death and reincarnation. In theosophical tradition, he is said to be one of the hidden guardians of humanity, working across centuries to guide human evolution. Some modern researchers propose he was simply a brilliant, eccentric man, perhaps a genius polymath born ahead of his time, who cultivated an air of mystery for protection, influence, or amusement. And then there are those who believe he was something else entirely. A time traveller, an extraterrestrial, a dimensional wanderer. In an age of science fiction and quantum theory, even the wildest ideas find a foothold. The truth? We may never know. Today, the Count of Saint Germain lives on, not in flesh perhaps, but in imagination, in legend, in the questions he left behind. He appears in novels, films, conspiracy theories, and spiritual movements. He is invoked by mystics and mocked by skeptics. He is a symbol of the eternal human longing to transcend time, to escape death, to know the secrets hidden behind the veil of the ordinary world. Was he a fraud? A genius? A mystic? A myth? Perhaps the answer is simpler. He was a mirror. Each person who met him saw what they wanted to see: immortality, wisdom, danger, hope. And in that sense, he achieved a kind of immortality after all. Because as long as we ask the question, who was the Count of Saint Germain, he will never truly die. The mystery remains. The legend endures. And somewhere in the shadows of history, the Count smiles.